this video in the middle of the night because right now I'm on vacation with my son and my mom, who's going to be 80 soon on the 27th of August. So yeah, basically I'm busy the whole day and I'm recording at night, but there's a lot going on energetically, I feel, not only for me but also for you. And I decided to try something else in this video. I actually want to talk, well, I actually don't really know what I'll be going to talk about and what this video is going to be about. Maybe just a little bit. I just have like a feeling it will have something to do with alchemy again, and with yeah, a process of change, transformation, big transformation maybe, because yeah, we have the season of the Leo and fire energy. Maybe it will have something to do with fire. Also the other day I walked on the Devil's Hill with my son, which is made out of this debris from the Second World War. So basically we were walking on, yeah, the ashes of the past where something new has risen from. So I maybe something like that, but also I feel it will have something to do with relationship, maybe relationship to another person, also someone maybe who's on your mind or you can't let go of right now, or maybe a relationship to something else, a dream, your life. And just look into the energy of that, what is going on with the other. So there's lots of mosquitoes here. Yeah, so, and for that I actually want to start off by pulling a card from my new alchemy deck, and maybe do a little bit of tarot later. But yeah, I just have to show you the moon. Just wait. Oh, I don't know if you can see it, but it's beautiful. So then let's get into the oracle cards. See, what do we have here? Calcinatio. Calcification. Okay. Already looks like a flame, like fire. Probably has something to do with fire. Calcinatio. Heat, fire, desire. So calcinatio is the great alchemical operation of fire, speaking of which. It occurs when there is enough heat in the vessel to transform the nature of that which is solid or fixed. How does calcinatio begin? With a tiny glimmer, an urge, a desire that builds into a robust flame. On a psychic level, this stage may be an uprising of emotion that has been repressed or dismissed. It wants something big to change, to be brought to the light and purified. Perhaps a flawed ideology, institution, or outlook. Frustration and anger are wondrous change makers if their heat is channeled with space, time, and awareness. The transformation that occurs from calcinatio is rarely harmonious. It requires commitment and a willingness to sit through discomfort as old patterns fall into the ashes. The flame initiates sacred change, and eventually the phoenix rises. Wow, the flame got lighter in that moment. What else does it say? The divine flame
resides within, and it is yours to tend to. That said, doing so patiently and with support will lead to change that is holy rather than hasty. Okay, hasty. Calcinatio, calcification. That's the message that I'm getting from the Oracle deck. The topic maybe of this video, and that which is kind of going on with yourself or with the other you're in a relationship with, you are kind of focused on right now, maybe obsessed with, maybe in love with, or in limerence with. Might be another person, might be your work, might be a dream, might be your life in general, right? So, but what I'm getting from this card is that something major is going on that has to do with an element of destruction and maybe a feeling of void, of an ultimatum or something like that, and something very hot, something that used to give you warmth, maybe kind of turning cold. Maybe you're feeling cut off from someone, maybe you're feeling like someone is distancing themselves from you. Maybe you feel like something that, you know, used to give you that glimmer of hope is suddenly kind of just turning into this gray cold ash, and you're just sitting there and your eyes are teary because the smoke is kind of, you know, just blurring your vision, and you feel disoriented, disconnected. Well, I'm surely feeling that way, so I'm feeling very kind of disconnected right now, and that is, I feel like, one of the most difficult states to be in for me, like one of the most unbearable actually states to be in, because I mean, certain pain can be intense, but it is more easy to bear, you know it yourself, like in your body, certain pain is easier to cope with, right? And then there is like certain pain that just is so sort of like even fiery, I would say, because it just affects different areas of your body, and you might feel nauseous at the same time, you know, this kind of pain that just is all over the place, and you feel just disoriented, and you just feel this fire everywhere. So fire is a beautiful thing. I feel it's something deeply human also. Maybe you had a fiery experience like with a certain person right now, or let's say with your work or whatever, and it really fueled you, it really gave you that energy and that drive you need. And yeah, so what once fueled us, maybe like in an obsessive way, it can actually burn us, it can lead to burnout, like in a relationship or when we're kind of obsessively in love or in limerence, it can burn us emotionally. So you know, we can get injured, right? We have to keep in mind that fire is not static, and fire eats what feeds it, right? So, and sometimes the fuel just changes, or it just burns away and the spark disappears, and what once was a flame just becomes ash. And now an apple fell from the tree. Oh, so and the funny thing is, I think we oftentimes tend to regard ashes as the end, you know, because it's kind of so deeply associated with death. And like, as I said, something warm, something hot, turning cold. And that can really evoke a feeling of emptiness and of like being like in this deadlock. But we need to look at ashes more as the memory of heat, and ashes are full of minerals, and those minerals are also again like a kind of a fuel for the earth, something that can fertilize the ground so that something new can grow. And that's kind of why I feel in this process we're in, or the other person is in, whatever, it has something to do with grounding and with earth. Using ashes as a fuel, I would say, basically.
It is a fire that drives us higher, away from the ground, into the blue. Come pull me down before blue turns into black. The atmosphere is breaking here.
I want to pull some cards right now for our other entity we are in a relationship with, or in obsession, or in limerence with, and look into their energy right now. I am always waiting for the cards to fall out. And sometimes they fall out fast, and sometimes it takes a while, and I just feel when it takes a while it's a little bit more secretive, maybe a little bit more closed off. Maybe someone is really, maybe you're feeling like a distance too. First card fell out. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, so we have the Emperor, it's Herrscher in German. That's the first card we have here. Okay, second card. Well, it's the Empress. Okay, so it's the female counterpart. That's very interesting. I will explain to you in a bit. Like, so, oh my god, these are some major arcana cards that are falling out here. We have Justice in a place of resistance right now. And let's look into Destination. The outlook, like the tendency. Okay. Well. This amazing spread here. The color red. Very obvious. It's like a red thread going through the reading. 3 major arcana cards, like here, like a binary combination with Justice in the place of resistance, and the 10 of Cups for the tendency, the outcome. Okay. So I kind of feel this is very much about control in relation to fire, related to the process of letting go of what no longer serves you and kind of getting back to the essentials in order to continue. I'm getting this from these 2 archetypes here, these binary archetypes. The mosquitoes, sorry. So this has nothing to do with gender, but we have like here the masculine and the feminine archetype of control, and control is not a bad thing, and I think it also has a lot to do with fire. And you know, if we don't control fire, it can get destructive. So the Emperor could also be seen as like a hearth that is holding the flame in place, you know, whereas the Empress is more kind of the element of creation. The Emperor is more the element of order, maybe, and structure. I almost feel like it's the binary that keeps the fire alive here. That's the potential. If this resistance here gets resolved and we have justice in the resistance, and I will tell you what that means for your other in a bit. I feel the Emperor like this masculine archetype for control. He's sitting on this stone throne a throne made of stone, right? So he's all about kind of structure and control, but like in a positive sense, he's also like symbolizing containment, or this kind of, you know, vessel, this discipline. I would say like without this energy right here of boundaries, the fire kind of just goes over the top. So it just gets consuming without direction, maybe, right? And the Empress, on the other hand, you know, this female archetype, it's like the wild side of the fire, you know, the nurturing element, you know, unpredictable but full of life force. And also we see, you know, the fertility here as a symbol, right? So the beautiful nature around her, not those stone walls, right? So if this blockage kind of gets resolved, we get the Ten of Cups, which is the card of emotional fulfillment. So I feel there is a lot of potential with this other person or entity. Let's keep it abstract. So I feel there is a lot of potential for emotional fulfillment here. But what kind of needs to be taken seriously is justice. And it's in the place of resistance here. And it kind of becomes like a mirror that we turn away from, or that the other turns away from here. It's kind of knowing the fire must burn away everything that is false and that is unbalanced, and there is something blocking the other to do that. There's a fear of what will remain when it's done. And that's the big fear here. Kind of basically let the flames consume all that is not essential. And that's the hardest part, because, you know, it's kind of not interrupting with the process before it's complete. And this has a lot to do with ego, I feel. You know, ultimately only what is truly real will survive this process of calcification or calcinatio. Sorry, this word is pretty new to me, so I feel like the Ten of Cups is like a vision here. Yeah, something to look forward to if this blockage gets resolved. But again, like we're always, you know, also mirrors of the other we're in connection with, right? So you can't control if the other gets this blockage resolved. It's beyond your control. It's the only thing you can do is center yourself and reflect on that process yourself, because probably this is also like something you can totally apply to yourself, or I can at least apply it to myself. I kind of feel that I'm scared of what's going to be left behind. I'd rather kind of, you know, stay in like my daydreams. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just easier to stay within illusions and within limerence and yeah, just all of that. But in the end, only what is real survives. And I feel like the Ten of Cups is kind of the vision, right? So what happens in the afterglow, and this is, well, like a state we're all probably are longing for, which is emotional fulfillment and harmony, right? So I hope this video could give you some inspiration, maybe to look a little bit deeper into your soul's landscape. And I mean, things like these, they can just help and inspire us to do so. like very obviously, our little archetypical alphabet, and also this beautiful alchemy card again. Very grateful for that. And I will go to bed now because otherwise I'll be covered in mosquito bites by tomorrow. And I'm sending you all my love, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye bye.